Today on the channel, we're going to be taking a look at the Hot Toys Mandalorian and the Child. Of course, we know him as Baby Grogu, the deluxe version from Sideshow Toys. Let's open up the box, check him out. If Saturday morning cartoons fueled your imagination as a kid and powers your action figure collecting now as an adult, then you're in the right place. Thanks for stopping by, and welcome to Saturday Morning Toy Collector. And if you like my content, please consider subscribing. All right, looking at the front cover of the package here, you see a nice big image of Mando and of course Baby Grogu. He comes in the Season 1 pram. We do have this nice cigar box style wraparound. You can see him holding one of the deluxe items, which is the Camtono right there. Him holding his pulse rifle right there, just wrapping around here on the back. And then of course we have the credits here on the back. Slipping off the cover, which is always a very satisfying moment for any Hot Toys collector. If you guys are out there collecting Hot Toys, then you know exactly what that feels like, what it makes you feel like. We have a nice image right here of the figure from that ending shot of the first episode of The Mandalorian way back in Season 1. So let's get this out of the way, and you can see everything he comes with. We have a couple of trays here. We come with, he has two Baby Grogus. We have one that is standing, one that is sitting in the pram. He is removable. I have seen that in other reviews, but they do have one that's a little bit smaller, so he sits snugly in the pram. Got some Beskar ingots right here, hologram, the Camtono, the lid to the pram. We've got some of his blast effects for the whistling birds here, and his flamethrower effect, and then some hands, weapons, a little Grogu necklace right here, his bounty hunter puck, another ingot, swap out shoulder pauldron for when he has the Mudhorn right here, insignia put on his headlamp, and it looks like, is that like a little blast? I'm not sure what that is. And his vibro knife. And so there you have it. We're going to get all of this opened up and take a closer look at everything out of the package. All right, here's all of the Mandalorian's accessories, everything opened up and out of the package. And where are we going to start? Of course, we know that we're going to start with the display base right here, the little display stand. He does not come with a crotch grabber. He does come with this around the waist, which may prove a little difficult if he's got the backpack on, his jetpack, but we're going to see how that works out in just a little bit. Man, there's so much stuff here, I don't even know where to start. Why don't we start off by taking a closer look at everything that's in this package right here. You can see that there is a very nice flame effect for his blowtorch that comes out of his wrist. He does have a very nice I think this is one of the neater accessories, the whistling birds that come out of his wrist. You can see there on the very tip that there are some like little needle bullets, the little birds themselves, and it does have, it's permanently attached to this piece that fits onto his wrist. We do have the his headlamp, the Mandalorian Mudhorn shoulder pauldron. We have his grappling hook, which is really nice, and it comes on this nice sturdy piece of metal. I like the detail on the hook right there on the end. His headlamp that fits on the side of his helmet. This is a replacement piece. This is the whistling birds that are ready to fire. They're ready to eject. This plugs into his wrist. We have his blaster right there, which is really nice and weathered and looks really, really cool. Dig all the paint apps that are on there. It looks really nice. We do have the Mythosaur Mandalorian necklace for Baby Grogu. We have a thermal detonator, his tracking fob, one piece of Beskar, one Beskar ingot, and then several hands. We have a gripping hand that he can use to hold probably either the Beskar ingot or his tracking fob. We have a gun blasting hand right here, all with these Scarif Shore Trooper little pieces of armor on the back of the glove, which I love. It's a neat little addition. We have a gun holding hand or trigger finger hand for his left hand, and then we have two fists right here. Sitting this down, let's take a look at this other stack of Beskar ingots that he has here. It's two full stacks. They're unevenly stacked, and the really cool thing is that this comes off and it's magnetized. You can hear that, and so these actually belong in the Camtono, which is really, really cool. He does come with a hologram of his own armor, which is kind of weird. I don't remember this being in the show, but you can see the cape on the back. It's cut off at the elbows, but that is definitely Mando's armor. So I don't remember, this is like a little holographic projector. I don't remember this being in the show, unless this was something that was in the armorer's room when she got ready to give him his new Beskar armor. We do have the jetpack here, which is really nice and nicely weathered. Superb paint job on this. All of the dust and grime that's all over there. It is padded on the back, and this is a magnet in here. There are several magnets, and this magnetizes straight onto the back of Mando. No clips that are possibly to break. And then we do have some thrust effects, and these plug in to the thrusters quite nicely. You can hear how tight they kind of go in, and that looks really, really cool. For the flight stand, that'll work out nicely. Next up, we have his Camtono, which is really cool. And this is a very delicate piece, so I'm gonna try my best to be careful with it. You actually, what you do here is you can take the top part of this off, and this is where you put the batteries in. It comes with 3 tiny little button batteries, and then that's also your on-off button, which we're gonna get to in just a second. But you actually kind of pull these out. You pull them out and then down so that you can get your Camtono opened up, or your ice cream maker, whatever you want to call it. But like I said, this is a very delicate piece. I'm going to be very careful with it. You guys saw that button that was underneath the lid there. You can see it all opened up, how it's nicely painted on the inside. But if you open this up, you can hit this little button, and you can see that it lights up on the inside. And this is where you can put your Beskar ingots inside, and it all lights up and it looks really cool. You can tell that the lights are on somewhat when these are all closed up, because you can see a little light creeping out through the panels. But let's see if we can get this all closed up tight. Yeah, you can see just a little bit of light poking out, but it does close up very nicely. Let's switch that light off and then put the lid back on. And has a nice little handle right here for him to carry. But it's nicely weathered, nicely painted, and it looks great. Will Roadhood would be very jealous of Mando's Camtono. Next, we have his Pulsar blaster rifle. It does come with some really neat things here as well, like, for instance, the scope is removable, so Mando can hold that in his hand like he did in the first season of Mando. It just has some little plugs that it plugs in into right there. You can see the strap that goes around his shoulder and then plugs in to his chest armor in the front. And then also, and there's a little piece that you can lift up right here. I had to look it up in the book because I saw it in the instruction manual, then I couldn't find it. It's all so well sculpted, I couldn't actually tell where it was. There's a little piece right here that you can actually lift up and make it look like he's inserting one of his cartridges in there to actually load his rifle. But some very nice wood grain paint on there, some distressed weathering. It looks great, and then the blast effects on the end just look absolutely incredible. It's really, really good. Let's see. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, you know, I did fail to mention the vibro knife that he does have in here, which looks really nice if I can actually get it out. Nice weathering, nice detail, super pointy, really sharp. Feels fragile. I don't. It says to tuck it into his boot. I don't know if I want to do that. So here we're going to look at the two different Grogus. We have this one here. Now the newer Grogus are kind of articulated a little bit, but this one is not. He's got some little feet here on the bottom that are not articulated. They don't move. His arms do not move. His hands do not move. He's just kind of in this static little pose. But the cool thing is that his head does move. It can kind of go up. It can go down, tilt up just about that far, tilt down about that far, and he can move his head around. So he can get a little bit of emoting. And the really cool thing about this is that you can actually pop his head off. It's just on a little ball joint. And the other Grogu that comes, who is on a magnet, you can actually pop his head off, and you can put that head on this body as well, so you can get a more surprised look. Ears are kind of up and perky. These ears are kind of down, and I kind of like this head on this body. You know, it's kind of like when he's walking around, he's kind of exploring and looking around, and he's kind of in awe. And then maybe sometimes when he's in his little pram, he's a little more kind of scared or subdued. But let's plug that in and look at it. You can see where he's mostly just kind of like, this is a little magnet underneath here. He has no lower body, no lower legs, so he can sit properly in the pram. There we go. Pop that on. Taking a look at the pram, he does come with a little blanket on the inside. You can see nicely painted all over. There's nice weathering all the way throughout. Some paint chipping. I love the orange, little touches of orange all the way around. Has a hole on the bottom for the stand to help him float, quote unquote, float next to Mando. And he looks really, this just looks great. You can see all the detail on the inside. And you can just throw the little cloak in there however you want. And then Grogu just magnetizes right in there just like that. And there you have it. It doesn't fall out. It doesn't move around. He's just kind of like looking around. And I really do like the head swap on this. I like putting this head on this body. So you can just kind of tuck that around him a little bit, however you want to. And it looks really good. Now also, you can take him out because the magnet's only right here in the front. It's not, the magnet's only right here in the front. It's not in the back. And so you can take the hood or the rest of the pram and just click it in there, and there you go. You've got your own Easter egg ready for Easter, right around the corner. Yeah, it looks really nice. I dig it. I love the way that looks. I love when he closes it up because he knows Mando's about to get into some business. But we're gonna put Grogu back in his little pram, sitting off to the side. Here is the little post that plugs in the bottom and goes into the base. Speaking of the base, I was actually looking around. This is really kind of cool. All right, so the base that Grogu goes into is right here. This is just an extra piece. It just sits off to the side. And if you have the very first Mando, like I do, with the Durasteel armor, that base is sandy like this, except for it's got two holes right here for these spikes to go into the ground, and one of them holds a remnant stormtrooper helmet. You can actually use this on that base as well if you want to put this with that Mando, if you want to put this side piece with that Mando. It actually gets out of the way of both of the spike holes. For the spikes. You can use this interchangeably with this Mando base or the other. Now, I was looking around, it's like, where is the hole? Where do you plug it in? And it's right here underneath this rock. It's a little fake rock, and then that's where you plug in the base for the pram to go into. That's Hot Toys for you. Always thinking, always thinking. So that is all of the accessories and everything that Mando comes with. So now let's take a look at Mando himself. Okay, here we have Mando, and we're going to take a closer look at him. Just starting out right here with his Beskar shoulder pauldron. If you want to swap out the pauldron, it's just on Velcro. So you just pull this piece off, and it just Velcros right on there. And I think I will be doing that because we mostly see him with that mud horn ever since that episode in season 1. You can see the dirt and grime on his head. Looks really nice. The leather, or the faux leather bandolier. He even has his little cartridge missing, and these little cartridges slide out. They're super tiny. I don't want to pull one out. I'm sure I'm going to lose it, but you can pull them out of here. You can, fill up that one in the front if you want. You can put them in his blaster. He's got more here in the back, even more on that side right there. You can see the chipping on the back of his lower back plate. I like that when you take the blaster rifle, his pulse cannon, you actually poke these two pieces here through the cape. There's a little hole in the cape, and you can pull those pieces through, and they will actually hold the back part of his rifle, the lower part of his rifle, so it hangs properly whenever you have it on his back. You can see that there's no magnetic strap for his holster. It's just a little leather. It just kind of pushes in, and it's extra long. I like that, so that there's no way it's gonna come undone. You can see the detail on his right arm gauntlet. It even looks like it's got a little readout right there, which is really nice. Over here on this side, we have the closed whistling birds, and I believe the instructions say just to kind of push down a little bit and lift off, and so that's how you kind of swap this out with the launching whistling birds. He does come with an open space for his extra thermal detonator. These two are made into the base. They don't come off. That one magnetizes right inside of there, so it stays in there pretty nice. You can see the melted and scarred plate, the Durasteel plate that he has here. So we have his best scar right there, and then we have more of those capsules down here, and these are not removable. They're all kind of sculpted onto his boot, which looks really nice, and then down on the boots themselves, they have very nice texture on the bottom and some nice dry brushing and weathering. It just looks absolutely great. As far as articulation goes, Mando can look all the way down. He can look all the way up like that. Nice range of motion, tilt side to side. It almost feels like that's loose, but it's not. It's just got really good range of motion. You can lift the arm up about that far before the suit starts getting in the way, and the shoulder pad. You do have double jointed elbows, so you can get well past 90. On the side, you do have a bicep swivel, and it feels like, there's a butterfly joint in there. The hands, as you guys know, are on a standard hinge and swivel on the wrist, so you can get nice range of motion out of the hands. He can tilt back just a wee little bit, not a whole lot. That armor is really getting in the way, and then he can only crunch forward just a wee little bit as well. As far as the legs go, he can kick outward about that far, which is not bad. He can kick back about that far, and that's about it before the leg kind of locks up on you. And then you do have double jointed knees, so he can kick his own butt, which is really nice. You do have upper thigh swivel underneath, which you can get a nice little range of motion. You've got some swivel down here, and then I love that they do the boots and that boot cut right here at the ankle, and so you've got some nice ankle pivot to where you can pivot up and down and then rock side to side. So there you have it. There is a closer look at the Hot Toys Mando. What we're going to do is we're going to get this guy over into my standard review station and get him into a bunch of different poses and see how this guy gets kitted out with all of his accessories, Grogu, and what kind of poses we can get him in. So let's take a closer look at that.